Hello there. So now I'm going to talk about women. Getting along with other women that's typical women. It has been horrendous. Not just bad, not horrific, but horrific. I don't get along with women. And when I do get along with women, they have a genuine, they're kind to me and they're patient with me, but they don't have a whole bunch of expectations of me. And those are the ones I can kind of get with. Well, I do get along with the best. The ones that don't have these preconceived expectations or expect me to be anything other than who I am. So that's tough. And what I found is that a woman like myself and women like me, we live in our head. We live in our head. So I took the step to try to break it down a little bit. I very feminine and putting this makeup on just to do these videos so I can kind of blend in again. I hate makeup. I don't wear makeup. It's not my thing. This killed me to put it on. It's not a whole lot, but I did it. Okay, I'm conforming to what people like, but I don't like makeup, and I'm too old not to like makeup. I need a little makeup, but just to let you know, in that part, being a woman, anyway, getting along with women is pretty tough because they're more in their feelings. How they feel, and they want to feel like they connect with you. That's what I found. They want to feel like they can get a feel on you, and they kind of know where you are or know someone like you, or they can know how you would fit in their life. The problem with women like me is we don't have nothing for you. We are already satisfied. We would like to be around you and continue to be satisfied, but then when we're with the typical people who need this back and forth of emotion and nonverbal communication, it gets tough because women don't speak directly. They speak around in many cases, oh, well, I thought you were going to call me, meaning call me. Why you didn't call me? Instead of just saying, why you didn't call me? Oh, I'm not upset about that. We're good. I'm fine. They're not happy about that. They're upset. So this is really difficult because you'll have many people who will say, oh, I'm typical. I feel that way too. Not to this extent. That is overwhelming because for people who are not typical, from the time we get up and we're getting older and we have different needs and we're getting taught over and over again, go out there, say this, be nice. Don't let no one think, don't let people think that you're not nice or you're mean or you have an attitude. That's a big one, an attitude. And even if you look on the lower end of the spectrum or throughout the spectrum, autistic people do not walk around with a grin on their face. None of them. I have yet to see an autistic person who's just grinning and happy to get someone that's not interacting with them directly to feel good so other people could think they're nice. If they do, it's far and few, and there's a spectrum, like I said, but just how I know professionally and working with, these are people that will walk into a room, they will take a seat, and they're so glad they did that. They're looking right, they dressed appropriately, they came into there, they said hello, they was respectful, and they just did a good thing. And then you'll have typical people with all these, don't want to sound like that. Typical people who feel like, you didn't ask me how my day was. You didn't say hi to so-and-so. Didn't you notice this is different? I mean, all the stimuli they want you to just be engorged in. And you just happy you got into that room because you already pretending to be somebody you're not as it is. You already doing things and a schedule that you don't need to do. And it's tough. It's tough. So you're with these women and they're buying these shoes and they're getting the perfume and you like it too. And as a girl, it's really hard because you're conditioned that you need to like this or something's wrong with you. And girls are not really sweet like that. Girls will see the weak one or the weakness in you or what you don't have and come for you. All right? Been there. So over and over and over. So they will see that you're missing something, or for me in my case, let's talk about that. I was a nice looking young girl, but I could have done more if I would have understood. So when it come to guys and flirting and getting them, I didn't know how to flirt. I didn't know how to flirt. If I ever talked to a guy, it's because he made it a point to tell me he liked me, and someone else told me he liked me. But there's so many things I missed. There's so many things I did not get he was trying to tell me. And I didn't know. I didn't know. So I missed out. Now let's take cultural things in perspective a little bit. If you're from different areas, if he has money, you don't. If you're rich or poor, if you're different, black or white or Puerto Rican, whatever it is, if you're different, you have to add that too, because just because you have high functioning autism doesn't mean you don't have regular life problems. People with high functioning autism can have people who are drunk in their family, or they get high, or they can have bullies in their neighborhood. They have the same exact stressors. They just don't have the emotional and the verbal ability to express it the way a typical person would understand it. And that's the big piece in that. They have the same thing. So we're not looking at someone who has an abusive background or been somewhere where they could have some trauma, and you go to therapy and they want to focus on trauma. These people may have a disability where the trauma that you're doing is based in emotion, okay? The emotion of a typical person response, not of a non-typical person. That's something to talk about next. But trying to cap off with the women for this little stint, just working with the women and having these emotional cues you respond to and things they like and why they do it, and the guy's flirting and she's acting sexy. It wasn't hard to take a guy from me. Whatever I did have, I didn't know how to use it. And if he did like me, you told me. And if you wanted him, you took him. And in my mind, if he wanted you, he went. Can't have nothing that didn't, if it belonged to me, it couldn't go with you. So we're vulnerable. We're vulnerable to people who are manipulative. They say they're your friend, but they're not really your friend. They do little things to you that you just never really pick up on, and they play you. You're loyal. You don't ask for a lot. You're pretty consistent. They can depend on you. And those wonderful qualities will be used against you. And that's just how non-typical people like myself live. We good people. We don't get in problems. We're not the ones starting fights, but people feel upset around us because they can't guess what we're thinking or feeling. And I'm going to say this a few times throughout. If you want to know if you're dealing with someone who's typical or non-typical, ask the person who's typical, who's having all these emotions and thoughts about you. Tell them what they're feeling, because non-typical people know what you're feeling. We know if you're mad, why you're mad, what you did when you were mad, and we can give you the whole spiel. But if you ask a typical person, what is that non-typical person feeling? There's never an answer. They don't know what we're feeling, why we're feeling it. They just know that if they do something that's going to get us stirred up, that we get stirred up. And they'll get mad about that. And instead of trying to refrain from doing that, it's just kind of sad and it can get touchy. So that's something more to speak on. And I'm hopefully someone's interested to expand in that. But that whole female relationship and expectations on girls to be feminine, and how me in the middle of my life, I got more years probably in behind me than in front of me. And I cannot be bothered with this makeup, and I'm supposed to. Socially, I understand why I should wear it. I get it, but I hate it. So, talk to you in a few.